I'm here today with Rhys Manigan, who will be releasing his autism awareness short film, The Donkey, on YouTube after having its festival run. So, Rhys, what inspired you to do an autism awareness film in the first place?
Well, obviously, I'm autistic myself, and it's kind of basically explaining to people what is autism like, because all my life, I've wanted to talk about it in certain ways, either maybe writing a book or, literally going on a talk show and explaining it mostly because all my life I've had, you don't look autistic, you could get away with not being autistic and everything like that. But that's obviously not true. I have struggled most of my life to get jobs, just to do normal things. I misunderstand massively loads of things and everything. So the idea was that once I graduated from university, that I wanted to do something that was very strong in subject matter to put out in film festivals, and that was basically an autism awareness film. Obviously, it was a bit of a tense idea because I didn't know if people were going to go along with it or they weren't going to be very happy with it. But as soon as I mentioned I had this idea about an autistic young man who dresses up as a certain animal and he's going on a journey, people then immediately were like, oh, this does sound quite interesting. How are you going to pull this off? And obviously, I was reading stories about this autistic kid in America who was bullied, and he wore a tortoise costume because he felt like if he wore this tortoise costume, he'd be protected in this costume shell. But the problem was, um, teachers and everyone was saying to him, "You can't wear this. It's inappropriate. It's not really for school and stuff like that." But the mother managed to convince um, the teachers to let him do this because it made him feel safe and it's because he needed it. And I just thought that was such a good idea for a story for about an autistic person to do that, but obviously not a child because most stories are about children. But I wanted to focus more on like an adult or someone who's growing up to show that autism affects you no matter what age you are. I mean, I'm 28 now, but the character that I portray is a 22-year-old who is struggling because he this autism has affected him all his life. He's been bullied, he can't get a job, and so we're showing his perspective on life through that. And that was one of my inspiration ideas of that's what I want to show to people and hopefully get my message across.
So, what messages do you hope people gain from watching the film?
Well, what I hope is because its film festival run has had a bit of a mixed response. It has been like, going through this, that, and the other. It's been like a bit of a roller coaster, really. But the messages I'm hoping they'll pull through with when they see this is to show that no matter who you are, autism does affect people, and all we're asking is that we just want a bit more help. We're not asking for special treatment. We're not asking to, have extra love, extra care, extra, attention or anything like that. Because everyone thinks when they hear the word autism, they think that means the word attention. That's not at all what we're trying to do. Basically, what we're just trying to get through life like every other person would, but we just see it in a different perspective, and that's what I want people to see. But the film just doesn't focus on this character. Eddie, even though he is the main protagonist, it's more the focus on as well of Carmen, who's the homeless girl who talks about her backstory with a sibling who has autism, and the fact that she's struggling in life to look after this child, but at the same time she wants to tell people that it is a struggle, but it's showing as well that people with autism members also need help at the same time. And that's what I'm hoping, that when I stick it onto YouTube, people will watch that and they'll gain that message and those messages involved in there and say, oh, I see what's going on now. I can see their perspective. I can see what's going on, rather than just going, oh, it's autism. This must mean attention seeking, or it's all about them, or they just want the special treatment, when it's nothing like that. Because trust me, I mean, I'm autistic myself and I have never had special treatment, as the people say. I've just needed extra help, really. I mean, but what makes me laugh is even if I ask for extra help, it's still a big no-no. And that's what is crazy about this world.
Anyway, Rhys, congratulations on the film being selected at the NIFF.
Thank
What
you.
was it like to be picked?
It was a relief. Yeah, it was a massive relief. Because I have stuck this film into like 30 festivals. I mean, I've still got five more to hear from, but I'm not really getting my hopes up. I mean, I know I shouldn't really think like that, but at the end of the day, the way it's been done and the way people have seen this film and treated it, it's kind of like they've just gone, oh, if it's about autism, maybe this is a bit of a tricky subject. We shouldn't have it in our subjects. What's annoying is, and I'll talk about NIFF in a second, but what's annoyed me with the festival responses is that they've looked at this film obviously and they've gone, oh, autism, bang, we that's not good, let's shove it under the carpet. And what annoyed me was there was a one in Deptford, which actually was talking about autism awareness as a subject and autism and Asperger's syndrome and everything. And I thought my film would be so perfect to stick in there because I thought maybe they'd look at that and say this is perfect, but instead they just literally took that film, they emailed me and they were like, this film doesn't explain autism enough. And I thought, well, that's a load of, well, I'm going to swear anyway because it's my YouTube channel, but it was a load of bollocks. And basically I was saying that, just because my autism film expresses autism in a visual way rather than dialogue and talking all the time, because otherwise if I did that, it'll make the audience feel a bit stupid. Why is that such a big deal? So I just thought that was really offensive, and I thought, well, hopefully other festivals will look at this and see what I'm trying to aim for. But instead, they say they're looking for original material, and then they'd rather still have a movie about an alien landing on Earth, killing people, or a man trying to be Liam Neeson with a gun shooting people, and they still look for the cliches. But NIFF, they were lovely. They saw my film, they accepted it, they took it on board because they said they were looking for original material. And what was amazing was that they sent me this email and said that even though your film didn't get picked, there was a top three section, it was still in third place out of 300 entries, which I thought was incredible. And they sent me a certificate and said, this is your reward for being third and for participating. So they sent me a certificate. So the fact that it managed to get something out of at least one festival, in my eyes, is a huge achievement. But I just wish that the film festivals and the people would be stop being so prejudiced about, just because I say autism or something, they're just like, oh shit, let's hide that. We don't want that sort of subject in the cut. But the thing is, what they don't understand is if they don't understand what the film is trying to do or pull, or what the messages I'm trying to get across, then people aren't watching the film, and it also shows that they just don't care. So I will definitely give a big shout out to NIFF because they are brilliant people for accepting a film that was original. But for the others, I'm just disappointed because next time they're going to ask for original material, I'm not going to believe them. So it's just. To be honest, I just think it's ridiculous that people ask for original material and they just don't accept original material when it's right in front of their faces.
Hmm. Okay, Reese, one of the questions I'm sure a lot of people are wondering is why the donkey costume when there's lots of other animals out there to choose from?
Yeah. Well, there was a reason why I chose a donkey for the film. I mean, first of all, I have a huge love for animals. I love animals, of course, and I could have chosen any animal in particular. But the reason I chose the donkey was many reasons. Well, for one thing, there's a saying, stubborn as a mule, which obviously informs donkey. And autistic people can be very stubborn, and I should know because that is also my personality at times. When I want to go for something, I go for it. So that kind of goes for mule, stubborn as a mule, autism being stubborn. That definitely ties together. The second reason why I chose a donkey costume, maybe, is because donkeys don't really have many huge limelights in films apart from maybe Shrek or Animal Farm, but we don't really see donkeys in many movies. So I thought, a donkey is quite original in its own take. But another reason why there was a donkey involved was because my costume in my wardrobe, I only actually owned a donkey costume because it was originally supposed to be part of another project that unfortunately never got filmed. And I had that costume in my wardrobe for over a year, and then I realised that I need to use it. And when I was going through talking about the animal costume with the autistic child with the tortoise, that's when I looked at this and thought, well, a donkey is kind of perfect, because even though people look at them as sort of like dumb creatures, they're actually very intelligent, loving animals, you know. And in a way, that kind of again represents what people might think about autism. They might think they're weird, or they might think they're creepy, or they're not, not right in the head, as some people say. But actually, it's to show that autistic people are very intelligent people who are loving, caring people. So in a way, it all kind of links, and I thought it was great. Yeah, I mean, and the costume. I mean, wearing that was fun, especially during filming. I mean, I had to wear it in a very hot July summer, so I was baking myself in that costume. So I literally was baking myself making that film for everybody. So you're welcome, audience. From almost dying from heat stroke in a costume, but but it was worth it. And yeah, and also I had quite a few eyes looking at me in the public. I mean, I'll tell you this little funny story. I was filming a scene in Highgate Wood, and this little girl was with her dad, and they was walking past us filming, and the little girl goes, "Oh, look, Dad, there's a penguin." And then the dads go, "No, no, no, darling. He's And he runs up to me. He's going, "Sorry, sir, I don't mean to interrupt, but what animal are you supposed to be?" And I went, "A donkey." He went, "Oh, okay." And he runs back to his daughter, and he's going, "He's a donkey, darling. He's a donkey." And I just thought that was the funniest moment in my life that I did, because I was wearing the outfit, but I had the head off, and I think that's why she probably assumed I was a penguin. But the dad was like, "No, no, no, he's something else." And then he said, "What are you?" And I said, "I was a donkey." And it was just that was a great day of a film. I mean, yeah, I had a few eyes on me, but when I mentioned what I was doing, they were really intrigued about what I was going for. So I had a lot of support from the public as well. So it was really, really good.
That's good to hear. And what was it like working with the cast and crew?
It was I would say it was stressful at first. I'm not going to lie, the first couple of days working with the cast and crew was a bit stressful, but it was it was amazing. Overall, it was a great, fantastic experience working with the people that I had involved. I mean, I'm grateful to them for letting me make this project, and the fact they wanted to get involved and do it. I mean, but what's more amazing about the cast and crew is most of them who got involved had a link with autism. I mean, the actor who plays Eddie's friend, Sammy Simmons, who's actually a real life friend of mine. He's got a brother who's autistic. Plus, he's played an autistic character before in a festival as well, and he portrayed an amazing job. I thought he did such an incredible job portraying an autistic person for someone who isn't autistic. But the fact he has a brother who's autistic was just incredible. So obviously he got his research from him, and then obviously there's Cara who was heavily involved with the planning of the film, and she has a son who's autistic, and she was explaining to me during the whole filming process about her son and all the struggles he was having at school and everything like that. So that's why she wanted to heavily get involved in the film as well. And of course, lead actress Anna Dukowski, who plays Carmen, who is honestly one of the most incredible actresses I think I've ever worked with. I mean, originally she wasn't going to do it because it wasn't a paid film, like because this film was a zero budget movie, and I couldn't pay the actors, and they know that because obviously I'm still building up my portfolio because I'm not Steven Spielberg yet, as you know. But what I really wanted to do was because I told her I was doing an autism awareness film. She told me that she used to work with autistic children at a school as a teaching assistant, so she also understood autism. And it was funny because she was like, "I'll only make the film if you have a budget on it." But then I said to her, "Well, I don't think that's going to happen. So would you mind reading the script anyway? And if it tempts you, would you be able to help me make it?" And so She did. She read the script and she phoned me that night, and she loved it. In fact, it made her cry when she was phoning me, and she said she really wanted to do it, and I was really grateful for her for saying yes, because she didn't have to do it. She could have said, "Oh no, it's not for me," or "Because it isn't paid, I don't want to do it." But she wasn't like that. She is such a kind-hearted, loving actress, and it was nice to work with her. And also, another friend of mine, Bo, got involved because he's a really good friend of mine, and we love working together. And he also has a son who might be on the spectrum, so it was very important for him to get involved. And then, of course, we had two actresses who played the bullies. Emma Pallett, who I think did an incredible job playing the bully. I mean, she's such a terrific actress, and she terrified me during the filming. I'm not going to lie, she did such a great performance. And of course, my friend Victoria helped me out playing the other bully as well. They both were incredible playing these really imitating girls who I based them off girls that I knew from school who were horrible to me. And they both literally portrayed that nostalgia, which was incredible. But we also had Kara's daughter, Little Pearl, which I don't normally work with children. I'm not really a fan of children, but we had Little Pearl involved, and she did a little great, job of playing the little Harley. Even though she didn't know she was acting, bless her heart. She just thought she was playing around. But the most person I'm always grateful that I was working with, who's become my best friend now, is Megan Grover, who was my cinematographer, and she was just honestly one of the most incredible people I've ever worked with behind the scenes. Like she just came on board. She wanted to help make the film, and she made it look good because of her camera work. And and I'm always grateful for her as well. I mean, she was my little sidekick throughout the entire filmmaking, and I'm always grateful to her, and I will be working with her again soon. And but everybody was really good. I mean, it was a bit stressful at first, but everybody was not complaining. We all had a really good time, and it was fun, and it was a really great experience. So I am always grateful that they helped. So it's great that the film's out, and they did it because of that particular reason and subject. So it was a wonderful experience.
And do you hope to have more of a following when the film's on YouTube?
I really, really hope I do. It's very important, to be honest, because the thing is, right, I've always, I don't know if people are going to agree with me with this. They're probably going to say no, but they don't know how I feel, so they can't disagree on my feelings. But I've always felt like people like to use me, or they sometimes they don't think I'm capable of doing anything, and sometimes I think they look at me and they think I'm a bit mad. Like, for example, if I say that I'm trying to make something, and I've got a story to tell and I want to do this, I have had people go to me, "That ain't gonna work. That's not gonna happen. How do you even know that's gonna pull through?" And the thing is, because I like to always think positive. I'm not a negative person unless I have to be. But I always like to think the positive and bright side of everything, and I just think life's too short to be miserable. I mean, you only live once, and then you're gone forever, and that's what I always believe in. And I want to do the life that I want to do. But all my life, I've been kind of controlled, and people have said, you should do this instead, and you should do that. But just because they tell me to do something, it doesn't mean they're right. I mean, I've followed loads of people that have given me advice, and I've always ended up going down the wrong path. Whereas if I sometimes follow my own path, I've ended up being quite successful because I know that that was my choice and I knew what I was doing. And the thing is, I just think sometimes people take me for granted, and people sometimes, probably listen to me, as I said, and they just probably don't think nothing's gonna happen, or they think, he's talking rubbish, it's not gonna work. But to be honest, the what I'm happy about is I have managed to prove many people wrong. I don't work with people who don't believe in me. If they're just trying to take the piss out of me, then they are no longer part of my life. If they insult me, if they think I'm stupid, which I'm not, then they have no reason to be around in my life. I know who I am as a person. I know what I want to do. So what I'm trying to do with this film is, when this does have a following on YouTube, I'm hoping to gain a bit more respect than I did. So when people look at that, they can understand what it is I was aiming for, and then they could say, right, okay, now we understand what he was doing. Rather than, oh yeah, whatever. I mean, because people always think that when you make a film about something, it doesn't matter. If you could have any idea, you can make a film. People always think you need money involved. That's not always true. If you have a camera, if you have your equipment, and you've got a script, and you've got actors who stick by you and rely on you, because I know a lot of actors who do, and they are literally like family to me, then I can make my film without any worries. And I've been very lucky to make 5 independent feature films with no money. I've been very lucky to make as many short films as I have made over the past 15 years of filmmaking, because it's my 15th year, in 2020. And to be honest, I feel like I've pushed myself even further than before. And to be honest, I've had more success doing this than I've ever had looking for a toilet cleaning job or working at Tesco or whatever, which is a job that I wouldn't do. But even though I don't get money out of it, I still get rewarded because I've made something. And I think with the following with this movie, because luckily everybody has been very supportive over this film, I think once this movie comes out, I'm hoping to get a very big response. And whether that'll be negative or positive or mixed, as long as people are watching the film, then that's all that matters to me.
Thank you so much, Reese, for giving us the interview, and also thank you very much for the inspiration that you've given to so many people too. And good luck with what you have coming up next.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.